What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about how much money I spent, aka the cost of living, over the past 30 days of living in Warsaw, Poland. But before we do that, smash the like button. Costs you nothing, means the world to me, really helps me out with the algorithm. And hit that subscribe button if you want to, or not, doesn't really matter. So, with all that said, let's get into this video. But as usual, guess what? There is a disclaimer that I have to give you because you need to have the proper context to understand what I am about to share with you. And this is simply, everyone has a different lifestyle. Your lifestyle might be different than mine. And you can make a variety of different budgets work in Warsaw, Poland. So the numbers that I am going to share with you in this video are going to be the way that I choose to live my life. And I'm going to give you context for these numbers as I share them with you, so you can have kind of a placeholder as it relates to how you live your life. So many people make various judgments on how people spend their money, and what is expensive to me might not be expensive to you, and what is not expensive to me might be expensive to you. For example, if I were a billionaire, a super yacht might not be super expensive to a billionaire. To me, it is unfathomable how expensive that is. So context is key. Now, with that said, here is the first thing we're going to talk about, because it's probably going to be the number one cost for anyone who choose to come to Warsaw, and that is going to be your accommodation. So, over the past 30 days, well, actually I've been here longer than 30 days, but we're breaking it down into 30-day increments. So, the first 30 days that I was here, I spent approximately 7,000 US dollars or so on accommodations. Now, let me give you some context to that number. First and foremost, most of that was spent in 5-star hotels. Now, I have a whole video talking about this, but they were 5-star hotels by the book. Were they actually in reality 5-star hotel experiences? I say they're probably closer to 4-star hotels. But a majority of my time was in 5-star hotels, a little bit in 4-star hotels, and a little bit in Airbnbs. Now, if you were to use something like Airbnb, well, you get a weekly and monthly discount depending on the Airbnb, and that could shave a lot of the price off if you committed to the same place for a month. Now, I have thoughts on whether you should do that or not, especially because you don't really know what you're walking into. And so if you book a 30-day Airbnb and hate it after the first 3 days, well, you're kind of SOL. But anyway, that would be one way to reduce that cost. Another way to reduce that cost is simply to use something like a hostel. Now, I have my own thoughts on hostels, but you could reduce your cost there. Another way is simply, choosing 2 or 3-star hotels. Or one of the best ways to reduce that cost is going to be, getting a long-term agreement. So if you were interested in moving here, you could probably, find places for a fraction of the $7,000 that I personally spent. Another thing is you could live in different areas of the city. I've talked about this ad nauseum on my channel, that there are certain criteria for the places that I want to live. And in general, the logistics have to be really good. So I want to be pretty much a 2-minute walk or so from restaurants, from bars, from the gym. And I want to be walking distance to all the places that I personally want to go. I don't particularly want to take public transportation or Ubers. So if you go outside of the prime city center area, and many people will say where I currently am isn't the prime city center area, and that is probably correct, but this is my personal favorite area. I've tried a ton of different areas, and it's the area around the Bowery. So I can walk outside my building, be at the Bowery in 1 minute tops, okay? So be aware of that. But if you go outside of the city center or the main hubs, then your rent is likely going to decrease, especially if you are in that long term, like 12-month lease agreement area. So you could get that number down to, I don't know, if you were doing hostels, maybe, I don't know, $500 a month, who knows. But I would say to live comfortably, probably 1500, especially during summer where it's my understanding things are a little bit more expensive. I would say 1500, completely reasonable number for living in Warsaw, Poland for accommodation. Another thing that I just kind of touched on was transportation. So, I do not use public transportation or Ubers really at all, and that's part of the area that I live in. I have no need to use Ubers or public transportation because I can walk everywhere. Now, this is partially because I'm here during summertime. And so during the summer, obviously, it's not raining. So if it were to be raining, then yeah, you might need to use public transportation, Uber, and so on and so forth. Or if you're coming from, you know, other places outside the city center. And I did take an Uber a couple times at like 4 a.m. and I didn't want to walk from where I was back here, and there were some other reasons as well, but it's like $6 for those Ubers. So it's not like super, super expensive. And then public transportation, I only took in Gdansk, and I really don't remember how much that was off the top of my head. Then from there, you have a couple other fixed expenses, I would say. And for me, my cell phone plan is like $55 or something like that per month through Orange Travel. And it's 100 gigabytes, I believe. So 100 gigabytes, $55 a month. And it works anywhere in Europe. So if you're traveling through, that's a great plan. Last 28 days, though, I wish it lasted 30 or 31. So be aware of that as well. And then I have my fixed gym fee, which is, I don't know, like $65 or so, which my gym, incredibly well equipped, steam room, sauna, everything that I'm personally looking for. And it's never actually that busy. In fact, some of these hotels that I've been staying at, like the 5-star hotels, don't even have that great of gym. Some of them do. Like the Intercontinental has a pretty solid gym, especially for a hotel gym, and it has a nice pool and like spa type, or like, yeah, spa type thing. But a lot of places didn't have the greatest facilities. So that is why I got a gym membership. So be aware of that. If you do book a place that has a gym, make sure it's going to fulfill your needs. Then we are going to have like the food budget. And this is something I really didn't want to get into, but since I just brought it up, might as well. And this kind of goes back with the things that I said at the beginning of this video. It is really, really hard to come up with a food budget because it really depends on you and what your diet is, how often you eat, what you're eating. So someone who's eating vegan is going to be eating completely different than someone who's on like a carnivore or primal diet or what may have you. And even then, like, are you only eating, organic, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or are you eating just whatever beef you can get your hands on, or are you eating venison, and so on and so forth. So there are a ton of different considerations. And I'll tell you that my food budget is a little ridiculous for one person. I think I spent something like $1,700 on food for just me this month. And for me, that is kind of normal, especially when I don't have Andrea with me to cook and clean and do all that stuff because I don't cook. And I don't cook because I don't want to clean, I don't want to go grocery shopping, and I don't want to cook. So I'm not cooking any meals almost ever. I've cooked 2 meals the entire time I've been here, and there was a very specific reason I did that. And so, in general, I'm eating out for all my meals. And in general, I am going to be eating organic, grass fed, grass finished ribeye steaks for every single meal. And so that is practically what I have been doing ever since I have been here, with very few exceptions. And the exceptions are generally fine dining restaurants that are, 7 course meals, 8 course meals, 10 course meals that are, somewhere between 200 and 300 per person. Okay. And so that is why my food bill is a little bit higher than the average food bill. Now, like I said, this would be different if Andrea were here and she was going grocery shopping and cooking and doing all that stuff for me. That would undoubtedly lower my food bill. But since she isn't here, this is how I live my life. And frankly, that is how I live my life whenever I'm not with Andrea. So if I'm in Portugal, if I'm in Bangkok, I'm eating out for every single meal. And that's not like a flex or what may have you. I'm just giving you guys the lowdown on what I choose to do. You don't have to choose to do the same thing. So with all that said, I don't know about groceries. I don't know about how much it would cost to, make your own meals. But I would assume probably, $500 would probably be enough to pay for groceries for a person. Maybe 300. I really don't know. And then from there, you have like your entertainment, I suppose. And your entertainment could be this is another one that's super subjective based on your needs and what you like to do. Like, do you like to go clubbing? Do you like to go to cocktail bars? Do you like to go to rooftop bars? And so on and so forth. Do you care about drink? Do you like cigars? Like, I like cigars. What kind of cigars do you like? There's $3 sticks and there's sticks that are $300. And I like whiskey. There's whiskey that is super cheap and there's whiskey that is not as affordable. Like, I like a Japanese whiskey called the Kavalan, Kavalan, and I like Macallan. So obviously that's going to be a little bit more expensive than if you were drinking, I don't even know, Jack Daniels or something, some garbage like that. Who knows? But anyway, like, it's another really subjective thing. So keep that in mind. I would say in general, I mean, a cocktail, probably around 10 US dollars, give or take, And then I would also say that a craft beer, probably around 6 US dollars. Now, that's for a craft beer, whereas there are definitely beers lower on the spectrum. And then a night at the club, it depends on if you're just getting drinks, are you getting a bottle, are you getting a table, so on and so forth. I've been out to a different couple clubs. We get drinks and a bottle, or we get a table and bottles. And I think each time it's been somewhere around $1,000. The first time I didn't pay, so I don't know the number. Well, actually, it must have been like 1,200-ish or something like that, because I was like, oh yeah, let's just split it, and my buddy was like, nah, I got it. And so yeah, around $1,000 or so for that. Now, that's not something I do frequently, but if it's something you do frequently, that could run up your total real quick. And then like other attractions like museums, sightseeing points, and I don't know, day trips, you could factor that into entertainment. And so museums, probably 5 to 10 US dollars. Some are free on certain days. Day trips, I don't know. I would just say plan $100 for each day trip, kind of thing. I mean, I don't know how much you would actually spend because you got to think, you're going to train one way and back, or maybe you're going to drive or take a tour or what may have you. Then there's food there. If there's any like museums, any knickknacks kind of thing, you add that into there as well. And so I don't think I missed anything. Let's see: accommodation, food, entertainment, gym, cell phone. I feel like I'm missing something, but I can't think of what it is. So, anyway, I would say there is just like a wide range of what you could spend in Warsaw, Poland. So, you could probably, I would say, you could make it work with as little as, I would say, $2,500 a month and not be like an absolute bum. I'm sure you could probably make it work with less than that, but I don't know. It just depends on your lifestyle, I guess. And then it could be a lot more than that as well. Like one of the nicest hotels I stayed at was like what? Like almost $500 a night, something like that. So, but super nice, great experience, all that good stuff. But if you were staying at a $500 hotel a night for 30 nights, what is that? Like 15 grand? So, you can run up that bill pretty quick if you choose to do so. Anyway, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into what you can expect in a place like Warsaw. Like I said, you're going to have to adapt these things to your particular lifestyle. But it should give you kind of an idea of how you can adjust your lifestyle, what you should expect, and so on and so forth, and the general range of the prices as well, because I believe I included the prices for everything. Oh, except I didn't include what I paid for entertainment. And like I said, that's just because entertainment is such a subjective number. Like I think I've spent like 4 or 5 grand on entertainment, or especially if you include my day trips as a separate part of the budget, because I went to Gdansk while I still had a hotel here, and then cigars, whiskey. So I mean, and a lot of that was the hotel in Gdansk, to be very clear. And then going out to a club the other time. So yeah, probably around, maybe around like 3 grand, somewhere around there. But I would expect, if you weren't doing that kind of stuff, maybe like 3 to 500 would be a perfectly fine entertainment number. Unless you're just like going out partying all the time, then I don't know. Probably closer to the larger number that I threw out there. Anyway, let's wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you have any experience in Warsaw, if you are Polish, comment down below and let me know if my numbers are, I don't want to say right or wrong, but what your experience is like. Because like I said, these are just my numbers based on my limited experience. And so if someone else has more experience, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. That way we can give an even better picture and even more detail into what people can expect if they choose to come to Warsaw, Poland. Because I don't want to paint this picture and then be kind of selling you a dream, if you know what I mean. If you know the reference, you know the reference. But yeah, I don't want to sell you guys a dream. And that's why I give you the context of what I spend and how I live my life. All right? So, yeah, let's wrap up this video. Smash the like button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys very soon. As always, peace. Much love.